You guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Lawrence with Sim Coaches, and I want to just kind of update you guys with everything that's going on in the shop. I know it's been a few days since the last time that I've uploaded a video, and I really did commit myself to doing one video a day, making sure that we always have some new content going up on YouTube so that we can just reach more people. But this past week, actually, I was out of town. I was at a marketing conference, and although I did try to still do content while I was out of town, they were such long days. The conference started at 7 in the morning, and then it would go all the way till 10 o'clock at night, and really just took all my energy. It drained me completely, and I didn't have the energy to film a video and edit it and get it uploaded and do the cover photo and all these different things. So for the last week, I kind of just took like a little bit of break, focused in on everything that we were learning in the marketing conference so that I could bring it back to you guys, and just try to get the Sim Coaches brand, the name, out there a lot more. So I'm gonna get back on the video grind. We're gonna make sure that we continue to upload more videos every single day and just try to reach more of you guys. So that's really the plan. So in this video, I'm just gonna walk you guys around the shop. There's a whole lot of stuff that has changed, different things that we're working on, and man, it's just always kind of cool to see what it is that we're on. So I'm at the front of the shop right now. I'll show you guys. This is the front. We basically have, the Doosan right here, the cart, but this is the very beginning of where the shop is at. This is where the main shop door is at. Did you guys know that drivers are swapping over to our pedals every single day, and they're finding a huge amount of success going faster on the track, being more consistent, and really just being competitive in the races that they weren't competitive before in the past? Well, if you're having trouble actually driving at your limit, and you know that you're able to go faster on the simulator, you're probably right. The problem is you might just not have the equipment that actually allows you to go as fast as you're trying to. So here's what you gotta do. If you want a special offer on Sim Coaches equipment, send me a text right now at 702-246-2295, and I'll make you a special offer that nobody else gets anywhere else, okay? But you gotta send me a text, 702-246-2295. All right, guys, let's get back to the video. I expect to see a text from you. And yeah, so right here, the very first thing that we actually have, if it will, let's get that thing to, there we go, focus on me. Right here behind me, we actually have a cart. And on this cart, we have a lot of different fuel rails. Like you guys know, we don't actually only make car parts, simulator parts. We also make parts for the cars. And so a lot of the stuff that actually we're working on last week were actual car parts, and we're kind of finishing all that stuff up. A couple of the machines have simulator parts that are running, like the lathe over there. But the big Doosan that we have right here is just running simply car parts. Now, this is pretty cool. I'm walking past the cart. This cart actually has some dual brake caliper brackets on it. I'll show you guys these. So the purpose of these guys is really so that you can get two brake calipers on your Supras. So you have one on the left, one on the right. And really the value of having two brake calipers on your car is just so if you're drifting, you don't share the foot brake and the hand brake under the same system. Because anybody that drifts, you guys might know, if your hand brake and your foot brake are tied into the same brake lines, then let's just say, for example, you're on your foot brake. If you're on your foot brake and then you pull your handbrake at the same time, you'll experience a loss of pressure. You can actually feel the brake pedal kind of goes deeper into the floor because the pressure is just being used for both of those systems. So having something like that, a bracket that allows you to separate those two systems out, have two calipers on the rear of the car, allows you to brake with your foot to actually slow the car down, but then also pull the handbrake to lock the rear tires, just so if you're trying to elongate the shift. So that's super cool. These are awesome. You guys saw in some of the last videos, we've made brake calipers. Well, these are top hats for three-piece brakes. So if you can kind of imagine what this is, this sits in the middle, and then all the way around sits the brake rotor all the way around here. Those are actually machined to fit some pretty big rotors. Those are, I want to say 13.5 inches or somewhere around there. Ton of them over here. You see that there's a bunch on these carts all the way down, really making a lot of those. So those are really cool. I actually have a set of those on my 240 over here. If you give me a second, I'll show you guys what they look like when they're complete on the 240. We've had these on my car for quite some time. Right down there, you can see, it's also rusted in there, but the brake caliper in the middle, and then the two Willwood, the top hat for the brakes right there in the middle, and then the two Willwood brake calipers. And again, that's just really nice that you can actually have both two systems on two different lines. You don't actually want them on the same line. You could do it, technically it does work, but it doesn't just work. It doesn't work as well, honestly. So, and this 240 is kind of cool. There's a lot of stuff in it right now, but like this thing right here, this is a Japanese drift wing, or drag wing, I'm sorry, that goes on the back of the car, and it's just kind of like this plate. super cool. When I was into drifting, when drifting was a sport that I was really into, I always wanted to drag the car, you know, across the wall and just have it dragging. And so that was really the motivation behind that wing. Right here we have this simulator. We've been doing a couple different things with our simulators, testing new products on them, getting different things built. Yeah, so this one's really sweet. I mean, you guys have already seen this. This is just a test unit that we have. Now, this box right here is full of extrusion, a whole lot of different things coming out of this. This box actually has all the extrusion for our inverted pedal mounts. So you guys all of you guys I'm sure have seen the inverted pedal mount that we're releasing. So you can actually mount your pedals inverted. Of course, we already have our pedals that do mount inverted, but we never actually had an OEM mount. So all of this extrusion right here, it goes really towards two things. It goes towards our turnkey cockpits, because that's going to be a really big thing that we're really going to start to push, is our turnkey builds. But then that also goes towards some of the other products that are using extrusion to build them, like, again, the inverted pedal mount. You guys want to see a simulator that we just released? We don't have very many of these. We've already sold 2 of them pretty fast, actually. People are really enjoying this. This is a lower cost simulator build that we've been doing. This one is not complete 100%, but what's really cool about this is it actually I'll show you guys the triple monitor mount. So this simulator right here is one of our cheaper units. It'll come with load cell pedals on it. You could either have it with the triple screen or the wide screen, whichever way it is that you prefer. Of course, the real Sparco seat on it, that's pretty expensive. This one has a GSI on it with the SimiCube Sport actually as well. These are flat screens. We're really probably only gonna end up offering with curved screens, but I bought these initially just to see what it would look like, how it mounts up, and so we can understand all the different screen options that you guys might have, and possibly some of the issues that you guys might run into. We do that a lot. You know, some of the stuff, the hardware that we buy here in the shop, it's really just for us to understand and gain knowledge on, because as we build things, as we design it, as we machine it, we never really 100% know if it's gonna work with everybody's stuff. You know, there's so much different equipment out there. There's so many different options and styles and variants that it's awfully difficult, to be totally honest with you, to machine things and be confident that it's gonna work 100% of the time. So this monitor mount is pretty sweet. The center bar right here stays the same whether you're using a triple setup or a widescreen setup. The only thing really that changes are these side brackets. If you don't have triple monitor mounts, then this side bracket that mounts here to the front actually just isn't even included. You don't need this and you don't need that arm. You would just mount your widescreen on the center bar, actually, just like this guy over here. If you look behind it, this one's a widescreen, 49-inch Asus, and you can see it's just the single bar. And so that's nice. That allows you, that allows us really to sell the kit for widescreen or triples really with the same materials. And the reason why that's such a big deal, honestly, is a lot of the times we've found that drivers will start off with their simulator one way, and then just as they are, you know, they progress and they get better, or maybe they just they change their preference of what they like, or they want to try something new, then guys are always constantly upgrading. You might have seen this in yourself. You know, your simulator starts out one way, and the moment when you upgrade it and you get it ready, you really fall in love with how that one way is. But then you get like maybe a year and a half, 2 years down the road, and you're like, man, I just really wonder what it's like if I changed out my ultra wide and I went triple. And so everything that we do here in the shop, we're always very cognizant of that, and how basically in the sim racing community, people are always looking to upgrade, and they're always trying to get into new stuff, try new things. So when we build stuff, we really build it with the idea of being modular. So what I mean by that is, let's say you start out with our widescreen monitor mount, but then like 2 years down the road, you're like, dude, I want to upgrade this thing to the triples. Well, it's no big deal because we use the same design for both of them. So we can always add triple arms to a widescreen mount in the future. And that's just awesome. I mean, having the ability to just change these things back and forth and just be modular and be able to change things for you guys really easily is always the goal. Now, right now, we are actually getting ready for NASCAR because we are going to be at the NASCAR event here in Vegas. I want to say it's October 16th. It's 16th, 17th, 18th, I don't know, whatever that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is in October, we're gonna be going to that, and we're super excited. One thing that we have been working on is the last racing event that we went to, we brought one of our simulators, but the problem was when the little guys wanted to get on the simulator, some of the times they couldn't reach, because that simulator really, you can't reach everybody, right? We can't make it adjustable from like, I don't know, 3 feet all the way up to 6 feet. It's just, there's not that much adjustment in it. And so we were thinking about it, like, how could we get something set up so that everybody can race. You know, maybe the dad wants to race on our big simulator, but then like the little kiddos, they want to race on a smaller simulator. So let me show you guys something that we've been working on. And really, this is still a work in progress. I'm kind of just showing you guys this because it's really cool. It hypes me up. But this is our go-kart sim, and things are going to change from what you see here to what we're actually going to release, because this is something that we're actually going to release online. Is a go-kart sim that you guys are able to purchase, you know, for your little kids, your little guys that maybe they race go-karts in real life, and you just want to have them practice all the time. So here it is. This is currently what we have at the moment. Brad's been working pretty hard on this. We've changed this around a couple times, and honestly, like I said, we're still probably going to change some other stuff that we can make it a little bit more simpler and whatnot. But this actually has a real go-kart seat on it. It's not mounted yet, but that's how it's going to sit. These crossbars being angled like that, like you see, that's totally intentional. And the reason for that is that's going to allow us to put the DD at an angle like this. And if you've ever raced go-karts before, you know that generally in between your legs right here, where your legs go, you have the gas tank. And so the entire goal for this is to make it really feel as close to a go-kart setup as we possibly can. So we're going to hang the direct drive base right here in the middle, in between your legs, and it's going to fit really just like a gas tank would within your legs. So super cool, super neat. I'll have a lot more information on these guys once we lock down the design. Like I said, the production ones will probably be different designs than this, because our entire goal for the go-kart sim is just to try to bring the cost down on it. Make it a little bit easier, more affordable for you to get in. So if you want to get your little guy into, like, let's say Kartcraft, you know, the go-kart simulator, then you'll 100% be able to. So that's our go-kart simulator. We have go-karts right up there, so we're pretty well established with go-karts. We kind of know everything about them. I've been racing go-karts. I started when I was 6 years old. That was the form of racing that I got into. Seth has raced go-karts his entire life as well. So man, having a go-kart simulator would just be absolutely bonkers. I mean, I haven't tried Kartcraft yet, but if any of you guys have tried Kartcraft, let me know in the comments how it is, you know, if you enjoy it and whatnot, because I haven't jumped on it, but I'll tell you what, it does look really cool. And having a go-kart simulator would just be absolutely rad. Absolutely rad. Now, I want to show you guys something really cool. These things are badass. We've been working on these for a couple of months, and this is for a really big NASCAR team. This is actually a set of NASCAR pedals out of the current next-gen cars that we modified, we set up, we changed, we put electronics on them and all these things so that they could work on the simulator. This is the second set right here that we have. Really just getting ready for mock-up to finish this one. The first set we've already finished, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like right here on the simulator. So these are actually, like I said, the current next-gen pedals right here that are on the sim. These are from AP Racing, and these things are unbelievably expensive, these pedals right here. Just to have these pedals without anything done to them, literally just to purchase these from AP Racing is $6,000. Now there's a couple reasons for that. These are certified, they're licensed, they are the only pedals that are in the current NASCAR generation, and all NASCAR teams are forced to buy them. So, you know, when you hear that, of course they're gonna be expensive because NASCAR has, you know, they make their cut on it, and everybody has to make their cut. So they're gonna be pretty expensive. But we set these things up for them so that they can actually have one-to-one extremely realistic practicing when they're on the simulator. And we had to have a way that we could basically mount the hydraulics and stuff. So we made these plates, they're fairly large, but basically what's gonna happen is right here, like I said, this one's not finished, this is getting ready to be mocked up so they can be bled. But these canisters here on the top will hold all of the hydraulic brake fluid. You see the hydraulic cylinder right there. There's gonna be one here, and then one there, so you'll have the three. This is where the electronics are housed, and then you have your wires. These are just drilled so that we have these, we made these guys, and this actually will mount right here, and that will hold the hydraulic lines, and it's gonna look super pretty, it's gonna look super nice, but it's awesome. Now, some of you guys, I'm sure you're looking at this, and you're like, why are there 3 tanks for fluid? And the reason why is if you look at this set right here, you'll see that the clutch has 1 cylinder on it, the brake has 2. And so we're basically setting this up so that you can change the bias for the front and the rear brake system. Excuse me, it's front and rear if you actually see that sticker. It's front over here, right over there. But, you know, so we're gonna put a knob on it, so when the drivers want to actually adjust their bias for their brakes, they're able to just turn their knob over there on their simulator, and it'll adjust the bias over here, and it'll completely act like a front brake bias and a rear brake bias on their sim. I mean, that is just amazing. That's pretty cool. iRacing has to do a couple different changes even to their software to even make this happen, because currently it's not actually something that you can just change in iRacing. It has to be added on. So that's cool. Having the ability to work with the NASCAR team and really kind of just see what they need to fit their racing and fit their goals. Dude, it's so cool. I never really imagined actually when we started this company that we'd be working with teams at that level. And now, you know, I just see that the sky's really the limit, honestly. As we continue to go, we continue to push, we just get so many cool opportunities that show up, they pop up, and man, it's just so exciting. That's such a cool opportunity to be able to know that, you know, a big team came to us and wanted these kinds of things done. So there's so many different people out there on the market that could have chose, and it's just so nice to know that, you know, people stand behind us and they understand that we're trying. We're literally, we're here for you guys and giving it our all. Here's the inverted pedal mount. Of course, you guys have seen this as well in a couple different videos. This is, again, the prototype one. But these are going to be finished, or these brackets are on the machine this week. So this week, these things are gonna turn into nice billet pieces. This thing's gonna be completely done and ready to ship. Of course, we only have 5 of these available in the beginning. One's already sold, so we only have 4 left. But yeah, these are awesome. These are amazing. I'm really into the whole inverted thing. It's quite a bit different setup than what a lot of drivers are used to, but it is what it is. This is one of our stage 1 PCs. There's just so much going on in here constantly. I mean, man, we just need more help. We need more hands. We need more people that can just do, you know, getting pedals together and boxing things up and building the PCs and programming, and it gets pretty overwhelming, honestly. It's a good problem to have, right? That we need more people, need more hands, but in today's current world, it's actually not super easy to find people. People that actually want to work. You know, it's very easy to find people that want to stand around, but not people that want to actually have a hustle. And when, you know, such a small company like us, that's such a small team, we really need everybody that's on the same page and kind of sees the vision, sees the goal, because if we're not like a team, things just don't work, you know? We have to be the best operating team that we possibly can be. And so finding people that understand that is a little challenging at times, but man, the team that we have right now is amazing. We just need more people. Here's our lathe. The lathe, actually right now, is set up doing cylinders. So you can see all the materials or the tools right there for the lathe. That's actually the block of aluminum that comes out, and then, you know, it gets cut and everything. But the lathe is doing cylinders right now. A couple of you guys have been waiting on your pedals because this lathe actually was down for a couple weeks. Haas was in here constantly trying to fix it and figure out why in the world is it changing its parameters like on the fly. It'll be machining something, the first part will come out, it'd be perfect. And then the next part will come out and it would be completely different dimensions. And it was like, wow, what the heck is going on? Man, really stressful, honestly, because that's a super vital machine. That's the only lathe that we have. And so when that thing goes down, it puts us in a bind. It's not the first time it's done to us, it's the second. So we're kind of finding, I think, maybe the limitations of that machine and kind of getting a plan together of like, as we start to grow and as we start to become bigger, how can we take risks like this off of us? Because yeah, it's obviously just not good. So yeah, that's a big thing that we're trying to figure out. I'm over here on the car side of the shelves right now, and I happen to walk past this intake manifold that just looks monstrous. I love how this red looks. These are billet runners. This is actually an intake manifold for 2JZs. This is actually, you can see right there, it says 1JZ/2JZ GTE. This is for a customer, custom build. Red runners on it, the polished, my gosh, plenum on it as well. This thing's just gonna look absolutely beautiful. The intake manifolds that we make for the Supras are really nice. They're really capable intake manifolds. They can hold, there's people that have them on their Supra, like this one right here, that are pushing like 2,500 horsepower through it. So it's a really big deal. Those intake manifolds really allow you to step up how much horsepower you're pushing through your car. You can see actually this is one of those brake rotors I was just showing you guys. This is a front, huge, right? You can see how large that thing actually is. Quite a big brake rotor. The rears on this car actually are going to be quite a bit smaller. It's not on there right now. I did happen to see that today. There is, they did finish getting machined. I'll show it to you guys over here. These are the ones that are on the rear. Not those ones, not those ones, not those ones. Here they are, right here. So these are the rears. I actually think these look pretty stinking cool. They're a lot more basic, but there's something about them that I really kind of like. So those are the rears that are gonna be for the Supras. Those guys right there. Pretty cool piece, man. I'll tell you what, Seth is really good at what he does, at making things just look absolutely beautiful. Man, the guy's like a master with billet aluminum. It's pretty cool. So there's a lot going on, man. It's a whole lot of stuff that we're constantly working on. You guys wanna see these? Remember those brake calipers that I showed you guys a little bit ago? They've come back from anodizing. So here they are, they're completely black. They're flat black. A couple of you guys actually messaged us and you were like, dude, why in the world would anybody wanna put a smaller brake system on the car? That doesn't make sense. And I totally understand, I know where you're coming from. Let me explain to you. The reason why these guys put smaller brake calipers on the Audi R8s is because they're all about drag. They like drag racing, they go in a straight line. Well, if you know anything about drag racing, you know that it's all about really who can hook up the tires and get the grip to get off the line the fastest. If you can beat your competition off the line, you have a higher percentage chance of actually winning that race. So with these guys, their entire goal for the R8 with the smaller brake calipers was so that they could put a smaller wheel on the car with more tire. Well, with the huge brake system that comes stock on the car, you can't fit a 13-inch wheel on it because the brake system is just too big. So they said, hey, let's make a smaller brake package so we can get the smaller wheel on there, get more rubber on it, and then we'll be able to grip up and go. And it's been extremely successful for them. Getting the smaller wheel on it because they can just get so much more tire underneath the car. And so when they launch off the line at 1,800 horsepower, the car actually has the grip that it needs in order to hook up and go. So yeah, it's pretty remarkable, how some of this stuff works. Gosh, I could just walk around. I could show you guys parts all day that we're doing. These are throttle body adapters. Those are end plates for nitrous. So actually, these are really cool. For the intake manifolds, those guys, these ones aren't polished yet, but for these guys, these end tanks get put right here on the top. And if you see right here, this aluminum actually has this X through it. Now, this is pretty cool. So what this is for is guys that run nitrous through their intake manifolds. Nitrous creates huge pressure, right? And it creates a very high pressure environment. And so here's what happens. If anything goes wrong where something has to blow up, that plate right there is the weakest point intentionally, so that instead of blowing up the intake manifold and having shards go everywhere, that end plate right there that I just showed you guys with the X, it actually blows up itself. So it actually pops at the X, lets all the pressure out, and then you don't have the risk of your intake manifold blowing up inside your tank. So you can see these X's right here. That's the part that'll blow out. It'll pop that. And then so all of the pressure will release and relieve out of that point instead of, blowing that guy up. Because if that thing right there blows up, that's gonna be a pretty bad situation. So Seth, knowing that, he made that X. These are actually ones right here for non-nitrous intake manifolds. So you see they don't have the X on it at all, right? It's a solid piece. That's because these ones aren't at the same risk of building up all the pressure and having something pop like those ones that run nitrous through it are. So pretty cool, man. I'll tell you what, there's always something going on in this shop and we're always learning new things. We're always testing new things. And really a lot of the value for us and what we're doing is, man, when we're testing new things for car builds and we're innovating new things for the vehicles, it totally 100% bleeds over to what we're doing on the simulator, because really those two worlds kind of blend over a whole lot. There's a lot of things that are in the sim racing world that actually we've learned from because of parts that we've made for cars. Like for example, the braking system, understanding really how we can change the brake pedals out to feel just more realistic, more like a real race car brake. This is all things that we've learned really as we've created stuff for the cars, and then we've just taken that knowledge over there to the simulator. This right here is an intake manifold, or not an intake, I'm so sorry, it's an intercooler. But you can see these end tanks say Sleeper Designs. My shirt says Sleeper Designs. Those end tanks were made here as well. So we do intercoolers. This core is not made here. This is, I think is, I don't know whose that is, and I don't want to say any company, but the end tanks do come off of the machines. So we make the intercoolers here in house as well. One project we've been working on for a while, you guys know this, is the load cell pedals. We've started shipping these actually. We've gotten a few sets that have left the door just last week. We're getting a lot more sets out this week. They're not perfect, to be totally just transparent. As time goes on, we're learning more, we're trying to understand more, we're making them better, we're understanding different spring combinations, bushing combinations that we could do, but here they are. They are pretty cool. The big difference between the load cell and the hydraulics, the biggest difference really is the point of which the leverage, the pivot point is at. If you look at the load cell pedals, because the load cell is on the back and it stands so high, the bushing stack sits all the way up here. So the pivot point is pretty high on the pedal. Because of that, we don't get a whole lot of leverage when we're pressing on the pedal. We have a couple down over there, we have a couple down here, but you don't get a whole lot of leverage on it. Honestly, it's almost like a 1-to-1. So what that means is if you put like 100 pounds of pressure at the pedal, the load cell sees about 100 pounds of pressure on its backside as well. These are extremely high high quality load cells. These are made by Mavin, the same load cells that are used in really high quality applications. We did a lot of research on which load cells would be the best for us and how we can actually just maximize the sensor that's on it, because it's important that we put a good sensor on these things because that's actually what outputs to the PC, right? If it has a bad sensor output, then it's not going to translate to being as good for you guys when you're on the simulator. So making sure that we pack all of our stuff with the technology that's going to last and really just work properly is so important to us. That's why we take so long sometimes on our projects. I get a lot of messages where people are like, hurry up, you guys are taking too long. And I totally get that, I understand that. Like for instance, the steering wheel. We get hit up on our steering wheel all the time about like, hurry up, you guys are taking so long. I wanna buy a steering wheel, but if you guys keep it up, I'm gonna buy someone else's. And I get that, I totally understand that. But the thing about like the products that we do, like the steering wheel here, everything that we make, guys, we design, we write the software for it, we machine it, and we assemble it. Literally every single step of products is done right here in-house. For example, for the steering wheel itself, there is a lot of innovation that we've done with this steering wheel. As time goes on, I'll explain a lot more about this thing to you guys. I can't obviously say everything over this YouTube video right now because the steering wheel is not launched yet. And the risk in that is one of our competitors out there on the market watching this and understanding what we did to our steering wheel that makes it so different, and then them jumping on board really quickly. So all I can tell you guys is this steering wheel is a lot different from everybody else's. We solved the #1 issue that all steering wheels with LCD screens have with them, and that's the flickering issue. That's the issue where when it's plugged into the PC, it turns off and does all these weird things. To be totally transparent with you guys, that is a hardware issue. That's not, and that's a hardware issue with the steering wheel. I know that some of you guys have been told that it's a hardware issue with your PC. It has to do with the USB throughput and how that puts out power. It's just, honestly, it's just not true. It's just the way that these things are made, with the way that you assemble them. With the electronics, everything that you pack into it. There's a lot of electronics changes that had to be made from other designs that are out there on the market for it to work and actually read properly. Without making all of those design changes, our steering wheel would have been just like everybody else's, and at max power the screen would be turning off and flickering and doing all that. But I can guarantee you guys that ours won't do that, because the technology behind it and what we've done with the electronics, it's just such a big deal. I want to tell you guys, I want to explain to you guys, but we're gonna wait until after the steering wheel is on the market to do that, because when we do release our wheel, this is important, I want you guys to understand this. When we release this wheel, it's going to be, the market's gonna shift to where, because we solved that issue, everybody at that point is going to have, all other manufacturers at that point is gonna have no other option but to upgrade their steering wheels as well. They're going to be forced to change the way that their electronics and their steering wheel are, or else they'll just be, their steering wheels will just always flicker, and their products will just be known as the flickering steering wheel. Right now, it's kind of common for everybody's steering wheel to flicker, whether that's, I'm not gonna say brands, but whichever steering wheel out there that you can find that has an LCD screen on it, it flickers almost all the time for majority of the people. There's a few cases where people get away with it, and really it just comes down to how much brightness and LEDs they're using and all this stuff. But Ours is not going to do that. You'll actually be able to run this thing at 100% brightness, and this has a USB D480 screen on it, so it's a really high-powered screen. We have a lot of LEDs on this thing. We packed it with LEDs you can see on the side, on the top, so it has every reason to pull a lot of power through it, pull a lot of juices, and a lot of reasons to flicker. But since we solved it, it won't flicker. You guys want to see the design? You want to look at this a little bit more? So you can see the way that we have this steering wheel right now. It actually has 4 momentary buttons on each side, so that's 8 total. You have right here up at the top, these are where the encoders are going to be for the thumb rotaries, so you'll be able to reach those really nicely. So this switch right here on the front, and then the 2 sides are the encoder switches, so that you can actually quickly change your dials and whatnot. And then right here in the center bottom, that hole down there, center bottom, is the one for the funky switch. So you have the 7-way where it's the D-pad, left, right, up, and down. You can turn it left, turn it right, and it also clicks. So 7-way switch right there. This steering wheel is pretty cool. We were thinking about putting buttons on the back, on the back casing. Like, you might find that on a couple Formula 1 wheels if you Google those. But we decided against it. Now, here's what's really cool about steering wheels. Once we actually release this first one, all the technology on the inside of the steering wheel is the same for the designs going forward. So for us to create a new designed steering wheel will actually be a lot faster of a process than us doing this one. Us making this first one, it takes a lot of time because this is the one that we're going through all the trial and the error with. We're figuring out what works, what doesn't work. We're figuring out, the ergonomics. One thing that we really have to figure out with this steering wheel right here is how we're gonna make the grips. That has been a question that we've had for a little bit of time, is do we make the grips big? Do we make them small? How do we mold them? Do we make them, do we put pockets in it so your hands fit really nicely? The grips are one of the more difficult pieces that we have left to do, and we'll do it. We'll figure it out. It's going to take us a couple times of screwing it up and making some grips that don't feel good to eventually get to the point where we'll make some grips that feel really nice. One big question that we've all got as well is like, what is our steering wheel going to be made out of? Right now, the front face is going to be made out of carbon fiber, just like some of the other options out there. The back is going to be billet aluminum, likely going to be anodized billet aluminum though, so it'll have not the shiny finish that like our pedals have. It'll be a colored billet aluminum backing plate. Our steering wheel will come with paddle shifters, of course. They're very nice feeling. They have a great click to them. That was something that we were very conscious of, is making sure that every single time you pull the paddle shifters, it has a beautiful click. It feels really nice. And then it'll also have clutch paddles on it. So you guys have asked, is it going to be wired? Is it going to be wireless? Our first wheel will be wired. And the reason why we decided to do that is wireless wheels, they have just the battery inside of it. And when you have like clutch paddles and you have the LCD screen, you have all those LEDs, the battery wireless wheels do not last very long. There's a lot of data that's passing through them. There's a lot of information that's talking to the PC, and it's receiving information from the PC. And for that reason, really, it kind of makes the wireless option not possible today. It's going to take a little bit of us figuring out how to make a steering wheel that has a big enough battery life that we can actually use it in so many different cases. You can have the LCD on it, you can have all the LEDs on it, you can have the clutch paddles on it, but that's going to take us innovating in that world again. Today we can't do wireless, but we will be focusing on doing wireless in the future, because doing wireless would just be amazing. We just need to have a way that it can fastly charge, it can get its battery back up to 100% very quick, but also the battery has to be able to last a long time, because you don't want that thing to run out of battery while you're mid-race, right? Although it doesn't actually, it would affect you, because if the battery does die, then you can't shift. So it has to be able to last a really long time, and honestly, it needs to have like a couple days worth of battery life. So if you don't charge the dang thing every single night, it's okay, because tomorrow it'll still work, and then the third day it'll still work. So we need to figure out a couple things about wireless. We will do it. Believe me, I promise you guys. You guys have asked me enough that I notice that's important to you guys. It's just for this first one, we're gonna do wired. So, but wireless will be cool. Yeah, this steering wheel, I'm gonna do a full video on our steering wheel here in a couple days. Yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit more into detail, go into some of the things about it, the buttons, what we focused on, you know, just everything that we thought of when we were making this. The PCB, I saw it just the other day, and I saw how far along we are on the PCB. That thing's awesome. I would say we're probably 85–90% done with the PCB, and then we're gonna order the very first batch in so that we can test it, we can see what it's like, find any faults out, and we might send a couple test units out to a couple different drivers that are not production units, basically just so that they can use it, they can test it, they can tell us like, hey, I ran into this problem, I ran into this issue, you know, just so that we can actually prepare for these things. And then what we'll do after that point, after we confirm that the steering wheel is good, it has no issues, then we'll order in a big bulk of everything that we need to make these steering wheels a reality. In the next coming days, or maybe a week or two, I'll explain to you guys what we're going to do with the steering wheels, because it's really exciting. When we're gonna launch it, how we're gonna launch it, when you guys can expect to see more information on it. I want you guys to have enough room and enough room in the timeline to where you guys can actually plan out ahead about the steering wheel, because we have gotten a lot of messages about that thing. There's a lot of you guys that are interested in it. And the steering wheel, I mean, it hypes me up as well. I'm just as excited as you guys are. It's a really interesting project. It's a really fun project for us to work on here in the shop. We bought this, this router right here for the steering wheels. So one thing we have to do with this router, of course, it has just stuff on it. You know how things get when they turn into tables, that things just get stacked on them. But this router, what we're gonna have to do is we have to make a plexiglass body for it, so it can be completely encased in a like a vacuum sealed, sorta, not really vacuum sealed, but like its own casing. So when it's routering and there's all the dust from the carbon fiber, we'll have the shop vac on it, so it'll constantly just be pulling all the carbon fiber out and keep it out of people breathing into it. So we picked this guy up, I don't know, maybe 8–9 months ago, and it's just been sitting here waiting, just waiting and begging to be used to make some carbon fiber faces for the wheel. You know, the wheel's so exciting because like you could do a carbon fiber face of like weave carbon fiber, you could do a forged carbon fiber face, you could do a billet faces for it, you could do so many different materials, and it completely changes the steering wheel, the way that it looks. And you know, and not everybody's one size fits all. Everybody wants like different styles and way things look and colors and whatnot. And so it really allows us to open up those options as we move into the steering wheel market. Steering wheels are a little bit more option friendly, where you can actually change variants and whatnot. Whereas pedals, to machine that much billet aluminum so that we can have different colors in pedals, it's just not doable for us today. Because if you can imagine, you know, to do any kind of anodizing, you basically have to send bulk products out, or else it just doesn't make sense because of the cost. So if we have this much stuff in, you know, on the shelves, we would need equally this much stuff on the shelves to do, like, let's say black. You know, you have to have a lot of stuff in stock so that you can have different colors, or else, like I said, the price of it really just doesn't make sense. Because you're basically paying, when you do anodizing, you're paying for the price of like the batch, the bulk, all of that stuff. But it's the same price in most cases if you send 10 parts out or if you send 100 parts out, because the amount of material that they use and the effort required is almost the same. It's just about how many pieces they dunk and do all those things. So yeah, super exciting when it comes to colors and whatnot. I was gonna show you guys these, but it has a company name on it, so I don't wanna put them on blast. But yeah, so much exciting stuff going on out here, guys. I'm so pumped. I'm so happy all you guys are part of this community. It's really exciting for us because as time has gone on, we've really started to focus more and more on different parts outside of just the pedals. We've heard you guys asking for a lot of different things, you know, different products and updates and all this stuff. And yeah, we've been trying just to focus on getting a lot of different products done so that we can cover a lot more of the market and help you guys really customize your simulator, make it badass, and the quality that you want it to be. So that's been our focus. The inverted pedal mount, our OEM inverted pedal mount is coming. I mean, we're literally like a week away from that thing being available to buy. We have our wide screen monitor mount, our triple screen monitor mount. We made VESA mounts, which are really cool. These guys right here, these are actual VESA mounts for the screens. So it's for 75 and 100 millimeter VESA mounts, all billet aluminum. Just really cool, amazing things. The throttle, we came out with a new throttle stop. So now the throttle actually has a hard stop on it. So you can adjust, at this point, you can adjust your throttle to be super short, or you can have a full stroke on it, which, you know, is really valuable to a lot of drivers. Because if you're like, let's say in a formula car and you don't want to have to press the throttle pedal down all the way, you just want to get to full throttle quickly, then you could put the throttle stop on it and calibrate it so that it doesn't have, excuse me, all of that throw, which is just cool, man. You guys have been asking us for that for a little bit. And I know it takes us a little bit of time to get to some of these projects because we're just such a small team. But as we grow, we get bigger, we'll just be able to knock a lot of this stuff out for you guys at a faster rate. That's just so exciting, man. It's just so exciting. But with that, guys, I know I've been rambling on for quite a bit. This is a pretty long video. But I'm gonna close this thing off. I'm gonna get out of here. It's pretty late here at night now. I gotta get home, make sure that, you know, I can eat some dinner and then get back into bed, rest, and then wake up and let's do it all again tomorrow morning, right? So I'm gonna close this video off. I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys could do me a favor, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, help the boys. You know, it always helps us when the subscriber count goes up. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a couple different metrics that YouTube is looking at when they see if like channels are actually important. Subscribers, how fast people subscribe to the channel is one of them. Average watch time is a huge one. So people actually spending the amount of time to watch the videos is gigantic. The longer amount of time that people spend on the videos, the more important YouTube actually you know, makes that video, and then it pushes that video a whole lot out there on people's streams. So watching the videos is important. You know, how many views the video gets, all these different things actually come into play. And you guys have been so amazing helping us. We can see all of the metrics that we have on our YouTube channel and where things are going. And yeah, you guys have been so supportive. It's unbelievable. The entire goal of all this is really just that we can make a community for drivers, that we can just build the things that you guys want at a really high level, and always have your guys back. You know, the Sim Coaches community has just been amazing to us. You could just join our Discord, ask a question, and just see how cool everybody actually is. Everybody's just so friendly, man. And that's what this is all about. You know, in the very beginning when we started this, people didn't like us. We were a scam. They had a lot of bad things to say about us. But as time has gone on, a lot of people have just come around to actually understand what our movement is, what the mission is. And of course, the mission's never at all to scam anybody. That's just no fun. That's the way that basically go out of business very quickly. The mission always is just to provide you guys with the parts that you want, the parts that you need at a really high level, to make sure that, you know, you guys can compete with the best of the best. It makes me just so happy when somebody sends me a message or a photo, or they post something in the Discord and they're like, dude, I just won a race again. Like, you guys are making this just so much easier for us. And man, that just makes me so excited to see and read. And yeah, I love every minute of it. This journey with you guys is so much fun. It's been so much fun the past 2 years. And gosh, we have so much more to go. There's a lot of stuff that we have planned. I think this week, what I'm gonna do, one of the videos I'm gonna release is I'm gonna kind of tell you guys what our mission is. And what the roadmap for Sim Coaches looks like, because we're not stopping at hardware. Hardware is a really vital, important piece to the business and what we're trying to build, but hardware is really like this big of what the entire mission actually is. There's a lot of things that we want to do as we get bigger, as we grow, as we get more help, as we get, honestly, just more money, as we get more revenue, cash flow in the business. It allows us to do so many more things that other people are not doing yet. And that's just so exciting for me. So we're getting there, guys. We're growing more. We can see more people are growing in the community. We're getting more questions every single day about our products and how they can help people. And yeah, the vision is very clear. I can see where we're headed. I see where we're going. And as long as we just continue to chip away at that mission, it's going to happen. So I've been talking, like I said, for a really long time now. I know you guys, you've been sticking around. If you're listening to this right now, you've stuck around for quite a long time. I want to thank you. But I'm going to get going. I got to get home. I got to eat some dinner and get back to bed so I can wake up early in the morning, come back and get back out here, do it again. So with that, I love you guys. Seriously, enjoy the rest of your day, your night, whatever time it is over there. And then in the next video, I'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Peace out.